Good morning, Moms and Master Books. Hope you're having a splendid day so far. I have snagged Kristen to join me for this revealing. It's like the birth of a child.
Much less painful on my end.
yeah. Much. I think, though, for Craig, he feels it's as challenging as childbirth.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah. Well, hey, so let's talk about the zoology set. Zoology was one of our earlier courses. It's a time we did it with a PLP, which was a parent lesson planner, converted it to a teacher guide. Last year, we got news that one of the books in that set, The World of Animals, was no longer available because of licensing issues. And so we were forced to take it out of print. And a lot of people really enjoyed this course. One thing I'll say before moving forward, this book originally started out as a more a secular book. So the worldview of the authors was really more evolutionary based. And while we removed it, I think that it still had a bit of the traces of worldview. And we say this all the time, that worldview matters. The author's worldview matters. No matter how hard you try to sanitize it or whatever, it still seeps out. And we'll see more of that as we go through this course. Have I dug a hole?
No, I just don't have anything to add. Okay. So I'm just listening.
So I'm sad that this book went out of print and we no longer have it. Part of me is happy because the new solution is amazing and it gives glory to God in a way that this book didn't. And so from that standpoint, after we show you this course and how excited I am, I don't get a lot of excited. Maybe I do. But this book I really am excited about because we developed it in-house. The Lord brought it to us as a gift. And to see what this course is now and to know what it's going to be for parents in the future, I'm excited. Okay, so this book is no longer there. The old course for zoology is no longer available. The teacher guides, that if you had bought a teacher guide for zoology, it's not going to work with a new course. The new course is very different. It does still use the complete aquarium adventure. Mm-hmm. It does use the complete zoo adventure. We'll go through these really quick as well. We're trying new technology today. So this is a groundbreaking moment because I have a 2-camera system and I'm going to try to flip it as we talk about it. Okay. It uses the Dinosaur activity book.
And that's where the similarities end.
Yes. And something we've added is the How Many Animals Were on the Ark, which is an animal kinds book. And I'll show you that as well. And then something that is amazing is God's Big Book of Animals. And we're going to do a bigger preview. But here's what you need to know. Okay, so your standard book, we have tape measure, doesn't measure up. Standard book, 11 inches by 8.5. I don't do this for a living. Okay, I sell books, but I don't do tape measures. Okay, so 8.5 by 11 is your standard book. This book is 10 inches wide. I may have to get help measuring it. By 14 inches. So this is a big book.
Not to mention it's thick.
It is thick. It's amazing. It's wait till we show it to you. Okay. So you have those, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books plus teacher guide. So it's a 6-book set. And it starts out by going through how many animals were on the ark. So I'm going to switch to the other camera and make sure we can do this. There it is. But how many animals were on the ark? If that's working for everybody, which it should be, good. Okay, so how many animals were on the ark? Here's one of the things. Understanding animal kinds is so important because a lot of things that approach an evolutionary worldview, one of the biggest problems that you have with evolution is you don't see evolution between kinds. You see microevolution or speciation, but you don't see the evolution from like a cat becoming a dog cats become cats, right?
Right.
Okay. Jump in anytime.
You're doing great.
Okay. Look at this new technology. Isn't it amazing? Okay. This book was created because we have a license with the Ark Encounter in Kentucky. And Ken Ham, this is one of the needed resources because people are always trying to understand how a biblical worldview fits and versus the evolutionary worldview. And so we'll just kind of go through some of course, it lays the foundation for Noah's Ark and the animal kinds. And then it really goes through and starts talking about, did all the animals come from a single animal, which is what the evolutionary worldview would be? Or what is a kind and how does that work? Where we see like a zebra and a donkey becomes a zonkey, and some of those hybrids and experiments, what differentiates those. A little bit about where animal kinds came from. And then it talks about the orders, like a mountain lion. Is it a lion? Is it a cat? How does that fit into the scope of things? And so the foundation of this course now, it didn't used to have this book, but now it starts with actually discussing kinds so that a student understands in depth kingdoms, phylums, class, orders, families, genus, species.
Right. We didn't have this book available when we put together the original course.
Right.
And so this little break in having to redo this course allowed us to add this book to the course, which I think was a huge upgrade.
Yes.
Just this book alone, if we had just added this book, it would have changed the course dynamically.
Yes, because as you'll see in the other books, when you actually take your field trips to an aquarium or to the zoo, having an understanding of the different animal kinds and refuting some of the things that they're going to be confronted with. Because again, this is one of the most pivotal things.
Right.
So, and then how from the orders, we have family genius and how they break out so that a student has a really good understanding of kinds and how it fits with a biblical worldview. And the pictures, our design team and our editorial team, we
knocked
applaud.
It out of the park.
Yeah, this is just an incredible book. So it goes through a lot of the different kinds, and the images are great. The like origin of dogs from wolves. There's just it's pretty remarkable. I love the creation of the, how do you say that? Canidae?
Canada, I don't know. I have to look that up. I would say Canidae kind.
And from that kind, we have the Ark dog, which could have been the dog or the dog that had the genetics for all of the species coming out of the Ark, and then how that would have transferred to the dog kind. And so it helps a student really understand that the Bible is true. Here's what we have. Here's the science that supports it and puts it in order so that when they're confronted with something different, they actually have that question of, but wait, that doesn't fit a biblical worldview and the science that I understand. So
this is all backed up by science. Yes.
Yeah. Diversity and adaptation within the kind. So it actually covers what would be considered microevolution, which we don't refute because we do see that. We see speciation and microevolution. What we don't see is the goo to you macroevolution.
Right. And microevolution involves losing information, not gaining information. So macroevolution requires gaining information that doesn't already exist. Okay. And that's what we don't see.
Gotcha. That's a good explanation. A little bit more about the Ark. The understanding the dinosaurs and how they would have appeared if you took them on the Ark, and most people don't realize that the majority of dinosaurs were, the size of a chicken or a dog or that.
And so, even if they grew up to be really, really big, it doesn't mean that it was the big ones that came onto the Ark.
Yes. if
full adult.
if a God who is capable of creating all of these animal kinds, seems like he would be smart enough to also figure out to take the youngest onto the ark as well.
Because they're smaller, they're going to eat less. They're going to.
Yes. And I love how it puts the size of a man, so for students, they can see so well all the different kinds that would have gone onto the ark and put that in context.
And basically what the premise of this is that there was much more genetic diversity among the kinds of animals that were on the ark. And it's that diversity that allowed, let's just say the dogs, the animals that were on the ark had the genetic capability of producing all the different kinds of animals that we see, all the different kinds of, not animals, dogs that we see today. But if you take a poodle, that poodle does not have the genetic diversity to be able to produce what we see today among dogs.
Right.
Because it's lost a lot of that information.
So the wolf would still have more of that genetic information available where you could get more diversity.
The closer, that you get back to the genetics of the kind that went onto the ark, the more genetic diversity there is.
Yes. So the course starts out with the kinds book so that the student has a foundation of the different animal kinds. Every Friday, the student does work in the dinosaur activity book.
I can neither confirm nor deny, even though I did just go through the
I'm pretty sure
Craig. That's
Craig
what the
did
schedule was.
That, because dinosaurs are often used as prehistoric rather than part of the historical account. And this also has just a lot of, it's also an activity book. There's so much good information about the science that supports a biblical worldview and refutes a humanistic evolutionary worldview. And so even if you don't do the zoology course, if you have a student who loves dinosaurs, this book is an incredible resource. So they do this activity on Friday. Once they're done with the animal kinds book, it is my understanding.
I've reviewed a lot of material, so I don't have that progression.
It's my understanding that they move into the complete aquarium adventure, and this is designed for the student to actually do a trip as well to an aquarium. But I understand that in this course, it's set up that if you can't take the trip, you'll still be able to do there'll be an activity in your home that would mimic it so that you can kind of see it. But the difference too with this course is there's some activities. All of those have been now moved to the teacher guide, and this covers.
Right. So there's written activities in the back. So all of these, there is a copy now in the teacher guide so that you no longer have to write in the book, tear anything out. Plus these pages are kind of glossy, and so it's easier to do them in the teacher guide. Yep. So now all of the activities are available in the teacher guide.
And so this is all done from a biblical creation-based worldview. And then all the animals that you would typically see at an aquarium, birds, fish, and it gives all the information, just fantastic information. So if you see a brown pelican at an aquarium, you can study it from a biblical worldview perspective. And so we have all of the animal kinds after, and it intersperses these activities into the zoology. There's an appendix.
This is just a fun book anyway. You got to open that up.
And this has a rubber band. Okay, so this has different information, ocean zones, animals that are found in the different zones. So different cards for each. I think it's different classes, right, with activity cards.
Mm-hmm. You flip those over.
So different facts about coral, the octopus, the horseshoe crab. And then Bingotion. There's a bingo game where you can play. I think it's when you do this, you can do the activity when you're at the aquarium. Yep. So it goes into that book. The Complete Aquarium Adventure. I think I saw somebody had asked about aquatic animals. Covered here. I just picked up a click. Rebecca does a click all the time. I just stop, Rebecca.
We did just watch your video on the
I think,
catalog.
yeah, I just did the click. Okay. The Complete Zoo Adventure. It's designed as well. You study it and then you take a trip to the zoo.
Mhm.
If not, you can do you don't have to have the trip to the zoo to do it, but it's just a fantastic resource. And this book is a lot of fun no matter what. So these also have devotions. So as they're going through, I think there's 7 devotions, and Craig told me that he starts the week off with a devotion from these series. And it goes through the animals. Here are the different devotions that all line up with the zoo and God's wonderful creation. And then the animals that you're going to see at the zoo. The birds, paws and claws, hooves, reptiles, and again, you can see just a lot of great information on the animals. And so they're going to be exposed to almost everything that they would see in your typical zoo across the country. Again, the activities are in the teacher guide, and then the back of this is the same. Your different climates. I guess those are climates. It's been a long time since I've done zoology. So we have field journals, I think. Oh, you have little assignments, field assignments. There's different activities that the book walks the student through. So it's got all these cool things in the back of these books. So you've got those 2 adventures that they go through. And then here it comes. Okay. God's Big Book of Animals. Now this thing is, I had to actually expand my my camera spot, but the images in this book and the content in this book is remarkable, but it's also remarkable because it's completely done from, it's done from a creation perspective of here is God's wonderful creation. All of these are amazingly designed for the creator. We have birds, we have insects, amphibians, reptiles, mammals, and sea animals. And it starts right out with scripture. Look at the birds of the air, for they neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not more valuable than they? See, this is what I love. Well, they're learning this scripture as they go through their life is going to be so valuable to them, because there are times that it's important to look to the birds and realize that if God cares for them and he looks out for their welfare, he's doing that for me.
It also provides a really good backdrop on why even bother to study the birds.
Right. Yes. Some cool things about this book, and I'll flip through them, but of course, class, order, family, which we learned about in the Animal Kinds book.
Yes.
A group of hummingbirds is called a charm of hummingbirds. As is common with many types of birds, a male is called a cock, a female is called a hen, and the baby is called a chick. Did you know that they're not songbirds? They're called hummingbirds because their wing beat so fast they make a humming sound. Their heart can beat up to 1,260 times per minute. So their blood pressure is higher than mine. And then it goes through and gives even more information about, here's what the nest would be. Here's a mom feeding the babies. Look at the tongue of the hummingbird coming out. Fun facts, they flap so fast it's hard to see. They look like noisy vibrating smudge. The only way to see their wings flapping is by a special camera. Some people mistake them for insects because of their size and the way they fly. I didn't know that they lived in holes. Sorry, got distracted. Toucans. Let's see. the woodpecker. Aren't these images and
It's just so
stuff?
gorgeous. I was going through this book when I was in Florida, just doing editorial type stuff, and my niece was there, and she just loved looking at the pictures too.
Faithful for life. When a male and female crows mate, they stay faithful to each other for the rest of their lives. Sometime a pair of crows leaves the flock and join another, but the pair stays together and they never leave each other. When they have chicks, the mother takes care of them while the father keeps watch and brings food for the baby. Baby crows eat at least 8 big meals a day. Sounds like our baby crows. Studies show that a family of crows can eat about 40,000 insects at one meal.
We need more crows.
We need more crows. Amen. If you pay attention, you might see crows dropping nuts on sidewalks and roads. The shells crack open or get run over by them, and the crows can eat the insects easily.
Inside.
Eat the inside, not the insects, yes. Crows like shiny objects, so they often steal items left out in our backyards. We have vultures. The images of this book is just incredible.
It's stunning. When this book came in, because my mom had seen me working on it when I was visiting her, I FaceTimed with her, and she was blown away.
Did you know seagulls drink salt water?
I know all the facts that are in this book because I have read through it multiple times.
Well, for me, this is a first. I did not know this. Seagulls have a pair of special glands that flush the salt out that they drink. These glands let them drink both fresh and salt water. The glands are above their eyes and get rid of salty fluids. That is cool. Yes.
There's a lot of really fun facts in here. And you know, what I like about this book is it's not as busy. Where's the old animals book? This is still chock full of really neat stuff, but it's not so busy. So I personally believe that the kids are going to actually learn more and retain more out of the new book than what they did in the old book. Just because there's just so much in the old book, so much information on one page spread that it's hard to really sink your teeth into the facts that you're learning and not get overwhelmed.
Yes.
So I just wanted to give that little comparison. I mean, even on a...
And I think everything is fully appropriate for upper elementary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm going to just keep going through. You can just get a good idea. I don't know what that is. It's called...
A grebe.
A grebe.
Grebes.
Grebes. Fun fact, they live in North America, and there's several different types on the continent. That's interesting. Wow. They're like 25 inches long and weigh 2 pounds. I'm getting distracted. They like to dress up. They eat rocks. Wow.
When I was doing the editing of this book, I would do this. I would just start telling some of these things to my mom and my niece.
Yeah. Isn't this awesome? We are so excited to have this.
Yeah, see that I was looking at the penguin one. This is one of the busier pages, but it's still far clearer and far easier to digest than in the old book.
So here's something that you see when you have a worldview that's a biblical worldview. How do the females find their families? Families return to the breeding site, reunite with their mates and their little chicks, whom they feed. The truth is, nobody knows how the females find their families in the sea of penguins that make up the colony. God gave them that wisdom to find their mates and chicks among others. And even though their families do not stay put while they're away, that's the part of the biblical foundation of it goes right to.
It's woven.
Yes.
Instead of just added. Like we had to just add it in here and there in the other book because it wasn't originally written from a biblical worldview. We had to pull out the stuff that wasn't and try to weave in ours where this actually came to us with a biblical worldview woven throughout it.
Yes.
Now it came to us in Hebrew.
It did. It
A
came.
little fun fact about this book, it came to us in Hebrew. And when we originally looked at it, it started from here.
Hebrew goes backwards. It
Yep.
goes the opposite
And
way.
went this direction, and it was all written in Hebrew. And we had to get the translation for it.
Which was interesting.
We had to edit the translations.
Yes.
And we added some unique things to it as well.
Queen bee is the only one to lay eggs. I'm sure we knew that. Mosquitoes.
Mm-hmm.
We'll skip ahead a little bit. We have the fleas, because fleas are termites. Yeah, I actually spent time going through the termite section last night. I was like, wow. Frogs, turtles, iguanas. I'm going to move forward. Snakes.
Iguanas also have the ability to get rid of salt.
Oh, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. And this is like the livestock in Arkansas. The deer, camels, elephants. I mean, the richness of this book is so cool. The rabbits. And it's not just one spread, it's a couple pages actually for each animal kind, or each animal.
I can't wait for Elijah to do this. This is going to be his for in the fall when we start again.
Yes.
And I can't wait. He's going to love this. And you know what?
Show mercy.
Show mercy of the cat. I know my all of next school year is going to be him telling me these little facts.
Yes. Yeah. So, and
That's
the pictures that they found, I think, like, the pictures are so remarkable.
They're gorgeous. I mean, how cute is that? The little mouse sticking out.
Let's see. Groundhogs, beavers. I'm speeding it up a bit. The skunks. Coons. That was kind of southern sounding. Coons. Weasels. The meerkats. Meerkats. They're meerkats in some parts. Meerkats. No, that would be Mirr.
No, meerkats. Meerkats.
Meerkats. Well, this is why I don't teach my kids phonics.
Yes.
All right, the lions. That's a gorgeous picture of a lion. That reminds me of our dog. Not that it matters to anybody but me, but hey.
They're not in the same kind, babe.
Again,
our dog is in the dog kind. The lion is in the lion kind.
But our dog does look a little bit.
She does look a little bit like a
looks
lion.
A lot like that.
She does. She could be mistaken for a lion from the back.
Bats.
Or a tiger. Not a lion, a tiger.
There are, because these are considered mammals,
yep,
are included in this book, but these are not. So there is some aquatic life as well. Okay, so that book is there. Let me see if I can come back. Ta-da!
You did it.
Yeah, the technology. Hopefully, it worked for everybody, because that was fun to be able to show you a book without trying to do this.
Or hitting me with it.
So this book, is, I'm just excited. This came in yesterday. We get preview samples when the containers are on their way, and this book is on its way. We put the kit up for pre-order this morning. So if somebody was waiting on that and wanted to pre-order Zoology, I'm hoping Josh and I don't get in trouble for that, but we made it available for pre-order. So we're excited. So we want to get this going, and sometimes you just have to put a little pressure on the system.
You know what he did to me? He brought this home and he showed it to me and said, I got to take it right back after lunch. I mean, that's just cruel. It's like, oh, look how great this book is. But no, you can't have it. I'm taking it back.
Well,
this is the one coveted copy that we have right now.
It's called the Tease. This is
I'm
the
like,
Tease.
That's just not fair.
I'll make a prediction. This book, even if you don't do the zoology, we are going to just sell a ton of this book because it's so gorgeous. It can be used with any curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, just use as a coffee table book. It's so neat.
And the size of it makes it like for kids, the pictures are like the animals are half as big as they are in this.
Yeah, I can tell you how this is going to work at my house. My son is going to be on the floor with this book, with it spread open and just studying it.
Yes.
He's going to be on the floor.
Yeah. Now, for years, we would go to homeschool conventions. We would find incredible books. Then you would come home from the convention and you would marker it. You would get kind of loopy on the smell of permanent marker.
That's not true.
Because some books, though.
Some books required a lot of Sharpie.
So we have pages of books where there's pictures glued over it, or there's somebody is markered.
And it's fun. I mean, my kids knew what was underneath of those Sharpie markers, but it was important to me that they had the visual that this stuff is not true.
Where with this book, there's no marker needed. This book is already, it came to us with a biblical worldview. Mm-hmm. We are so blessed to have gotten it. And then I think our team took it to the next level. Mm-hmm. Kudos. And
it was mostly their work.
They in design, I mean, the
editor,
whole format.
The editors and the designers.
Yeah. Even for Tim to make the decision to go with the big book format so that we could have more images and graphics.
Absolutely.
I think this is going to be fantastic. And I think that a lot of families are really going to get a lot from this. It's designed for grades 4 through 6. It's not, I don't know what the retail value is going to be around 70 or 80. I don't have that.
It's one of our more expensive courses, but that's because you've got so many hardcover books that you're going to continue, to use. They're going to be on your bookshelves.
Right. And you're getting like the adventure book that has all those cards and manipulatives in the back. You're getting this. There's the hardcover books like this one has. These are expensive books to print. And because of all the color, the ink, and the size of it, I mean, this book, the retail value of this is $35. But if I can tell you something, I just bought this book. I'm not going to it's a marketing book, but look at the size of this book, right? This book is $25. And so this book was actually $35, and it's got an incredible amount of content, and it's 250 pages of content. So I think the price is still exceptional for the value of the book.
Oh, absolutely. It's a crazy good deal for what you get. I mean, you get 4 hardcover books. There's only 2 books that are consumable, and that's your teacher guide and the Dinosaur activity book.
And the coolest thing is, like, this book goes on your bookshelf afterwards and will be used for ages. This book on your bookshelf, and every year you go to the zoo, you can use that. If you go to the aquarium, you can continue to use this book. So all these books, this is consumable, but there's enough information that you could hang on to this for sure. And all of these are just awesome.
And the really neat thing is, for those that have multiple children, you can use this with one of your older kids, and then all you're replacing are 2 books out of it. You're replacing the Dinosaur book and the teacher guide for the next ones that come up.
Right. So typically we try to be very understanding that if you've invested in a set, that we don't try to shake things up a lot. But in this one, it really was out of our control, and we tried to do everything we could to keep the other book in print and maintain it. But when licensing and rights go, you're pretty much at the mercy of it. So, but I really think that the Lord blessed us in that.
Right. If you have the other set, I mean, you the only things that you need to buy are these 2 and the teacher guide.
Right.
You can still, I mean, and the Dinosaur activity book if you've used it, if you've consumed it already. If you have the Dinosaur activity book and you haven't used it, then you can, obviously.
Yes.
But, you don't have to replace these. These are the same.
Yes. And one of the things I like is for grades 4 through 6, those are such pivotal grades. Our son is 4th grade,
Mm-hmm.
and he's asking such big questions. Like he's conflicted with the secular worldview that confronts us everywhere, and then the Christian worldview, the biblical worldview. And what we're seeing, like even in the history courses, he is beginning to start understanding
Yes.
God's hand in creation, God's hand in history, God's hand in things like mathematics and stuff like that. So we're beginning to see it where it's like if we hadn't had these resources, it would have been a bigger challenge. If
Absolutely.
everything he was reading was saying something different, we would have late night discussions with him where he would come in and he'd be really upset.
Yeah.
Because he was struggling to have faith and struggling to believe, even though he was growing up in church, even though we talk about this all the time, he still,
he is a thinker and he's got lots of questions. And like he was a little distraught because he didn't feel like he should have questions, I think. And so we had to reassure him that it's okay to have questions. And then as we've given him materials to help answer those questions, he's getting more and more excited about his faith. And I think this course is going to really help in the science area and with animals. What kids do not like animals? I mean, he wants to grow up to have a cat sanctuary. That's his goal in life. So
he's off to a good start.
Yes. We had 2 drop offs, so we're up to 3 cats. All of them are drop offs. But yes, we are really excited in our own homeschool to have this available. I do have a regret though.
Okay.
I regret that these were not available for our older kids.
Me too.
That is my one regret with Master Books. Is we have so many awesome courses and our younger kids are learning so much. I wish we had had these available for our older kids, and our older kids wish we had had them available as well.
And I think it really has changed the atmosphere of our homeschool.
It really has. Yeah.
Because it's much more relaxed.
It's more relaxed, and I have the kids telling me more about what they're learning and excited about it. And my kids are not those eager beavers that sneak into the homeschool to do their work in the middle of the night or.
Well, they kind of have.
They're getting more. Well,
maybe it's so they can finish it, but they still do.
Elijah last year, that's what he did. He would get up every morning at 6 o'clock in the morning and do all of his schoolwork, so he didn't have to do any schoolwork for the rest of the day. That's a little different. But I am seeing them engage with the materials in ways that they never used to with other publishers.
Eli's doing the history, and I had mentioned this in the group, but he's doing the history, and he Gabe did something to him. And he goes, "Okay, Nathan Hale," and he uses the different characters to I think it was because Nathan Hale was a spy, and he felt that he was.
I don't know, but that's Elijah for you.
Yeah. But that's. But
he's engaging in it. It's not just. This
yeah,
and that's exciting to see. I enjoy seeing that.
Yeah, so really cool. It's available for pre-order, but should be available in stock 4 to 6 weeks, hopefully sooner. There's a lot that comes together for all of this, and the printing world is a little different right now because of paper shortages and stuff like that. But if you're looking for an exciting science course for your upper elementary student that could easily be adapted to a younger grade as well. If you're doing multi-levels, you could do that. There's even enough meat, I think, that if you wanted to do it as junior high course, you could easily begin supplementing it because there's opportunity for reports, oral reports, written reports, research. There's some different ideas in the course for that.
And for the younger kids, I mean, my goodness.
Just reading.
Yeah, even just reading. If you just decided to go through with your younger ones and just read one caption, one set of captions, like just the fun facts or something like that, they would get just a wealth of information just out of that and looking at the pictures.
And it'd be so easy to add a nature journal to this.
Yep.
where they just start journaling different things, because a lot of the animals are animals that we find
Mhm.
all around us.
Sketching them.
Yeah.
All sorts of things.
So really cool. Hey, so Thursday in our teaching tips, last week we talked about motivation and motivating students and being creative, and you get what you lead. Okay. So this Thursday, we're going to talk a little bit about sometimes when the carrot doesn't work and there has to be a little bit of encouragement from behind, a little bit of a push and motivation, and just some of what has worked in our family in the past, and the other side of motivation, the driving side of motivation. So if you're struggling, and here's the thing I'm going to say, all of our kids at different times will struggle. There may be some sparklers who enjoyed school. That wasn't me. So I know what it's like to be motivated from the carrot, and I know what it's like to be motivated from the whip. So that's the perspective that I'm coming at it. Okay. So, well, that's it. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Good?
I got nothing more.
Hey, guys, have a blessed day. We are praying for your family, your homeschool. We are so excited every time we see reports of the light bulbs going off, kids getting excited, even more. Like, I know kids will get excited about things, but when I see a parent getting excited about schooling again, that's like, to me, yes. So exciting stuff. All right.
Very exciting.
God bless. Well, thank you. And we will talk to you on Thursday.